So there's going to be two parts to this video. The first part is a warning, honestly, about a meta ads feature that just about all of us advertisers are using, whether we want to or not, whether we know we're using it or not. And it's creating massive issues, not just in terms of hurting your short-term results, but also impacting the viability of your advertising efforts long-term. And then the second part is going to be an update. There's a new feature that's related to this feature that's causing all the problems that I need to let you know about, which is very, very interesting. So what am I talking about here? Well, firstly, let me just address the fact that I'm not in my normal recording setup. I'm actually on holiday. I've just ducked out quickly, gone for a walk because I wanted to let you know about this because I'm seeing this come up in real time. It's in my school community. People are commenting about it, leaving messages. It's like, this is happening right now. So I wanted to quickly record something and get it out to you. This won't be edited as well as it usually is. And we'll just put in the bare basics so we can get this out faster. Okay, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about creative enhancements. Now, if you're not familiar with creative enhancements, when you upload your ad creative, your imagery, your video, etc., you are then taken through a series of steps, including things that Meta would like to do to your creative, have the ability to do. This would be things like putting text overlay on your imagery or resizing your creative to fit different placement options, turning a square version into vertical, stuff like that. It could be adding music. There's lots of different options. I'll ask Meta to put some clips up that show how this works. I've created previous videos walking through all the options. These are ones you want to use, these aren't, etc., etc. So normally you upload your creative, you go through, you assess each one, you think that's good for my business, that's not, happy with this one, not happy with that one, and then you go about thinking job done. And then you may have seen, not all advertisers do, but you may have seen your ads pop up and you think, that's not how my ad should look. That's not how I want my brand represented. Look, they've cropped my image here, they've expanded here, this looks awful. This is not what I want to be paying for. And you think, but I turned off those creative enhancements. Here's what's happening. Meta is getting more and more bold in its automatically turning on of the creative enhancements, even if you as the advertiser have turned them off. And I think this is a real problem. So here's something that most advertisers don't know. When you do anything to that ad, a lot of the creative enhancements will be turned back on automatically, even if you're not messing with the creative, not going into the enhancements themselves. So if you duplicate an ad, let's say you want to run a new ad set, new campaign, you want to create a new version, they'll be turned on. If you edit an ad in any way, so you go in and you change the primary text or the headline, the creative enhancements can be turned on. You think, why would that be the case? If you preview an ad, I've seen this in a number of ad accounts where you just preview an ad, the creative enhancements can be turned on. Like if you touch it in any way, they can be turned on. You have to go back in and manually make sure the ones that you want off are turned off. Now, this is not something that I think Meta should be doing. And the reason why they're doing it is because they have assessed that we will get better results as advertisers with the creative enhancements on. And that might be true across the board, but that sort of short-term thinking of let's get a small boost in return on ad spend, I really don't think is made up for by the potential long-term damage of that is not representing my brand how I want to be represented. I was reviewing an ad the other day that I was involved in the creation of. It's running a campaign for a friend to help her out, right? And Meta had gone and put some text overlay over one of her image ads that was totally off-brand. It actually felt creepy. I was like, guys, why have you done this? Like, I've turned that off. You come back in and you're like, okay, yeah, they've been turned on. Someone else has been here looking at it. So I know to go in and turn these things off, but most people don't. And there's other people on my team helping out and stuff like that. And yeah, so you have to be so careful with the creative enhancements. If you've been through and you've selected the ones you want and you're happy with those, and the other ones you want to turn off and you're happy with that, just make sure they stay off. And anything you do to your ad, even just previewing it, which sounds ridiculous, make sure you go back in and manually turn these off. And I think that for some businesses, this is even worse than others. If you are in a compliance-heavy industry where you cannot say certain things in your ads, you cannot represent certain things, you cannot show certain things, if Meta can do what it wants effectively to your ad creative, you can end up in serious problems because you could end up running ads that are just, quite frankly, not allowed to be run. You can then run into all sorts of regulatory issues, etc., etc. And you're like, but I didn't create this and I didn't turn them into this. Like, it's a big problem, right? And if you've put all this time and effort into your creative, whether you're in a compliance-heavy industry or not, the last thing you want is for that to be shown in a bad light. And speaking of creative, one of the best ways to improve your meta ad results is to model from ads that are already proven to work. To help you do exactly that, HubSpot and I have created a free resource of tried and true templates that I've seen work time and again. Each one includes the hook, body copy, and CTA, so you can take the structure, make it your own, and start testing straight away. My favorite part is it's broken down by business type. So we've got e-commerce, lead gen, local business, and SaaS. So no matter what business you're advertising, you can find templates that are relevant to you. There's a link in the description below to grab it for free, and thanks to HubSpot for sponsoring today's video. But yeah, if you've been putting this time and effort into your creative, you certainly don't want Meta to go in and mess around with that and show your brand in a bad light. Companies put a lot of time and effort, advertisers put a lot of time and effort into thinking like, does this represent our brand in the way we want it to be represented? These things are really important. And going back to the compliance heavy industry part, I actually had an interview with Meta's CMO recently, and I asked him about this problem specifically. And I said, like, what are you doing with this? And his response was, well, we've been running tests and our AI lawyers are better at assessing whether something is compliant or not in these high risk industries than regular lawyers are. And I'm not buying that, to be perfectly honest. Like, I think when Meta's running experiments on their own AI products, think about the dynamic, right? Probably what's happening is more junior staff members have created these things. They're then wanting them to succeed and perform really well. So they're then running tests on these, and they're presenting the best results from those tests. We see this happens in all industries, right? They're representing the best results from those tests to their superiors and saying, look how well this performed, and potentially discounting a lot of the other examples where maybe it didn't go so well. I have no evidence that that's occurring. I just know that occurs in large organizations, that occurs in all industries, and that's what I'm guessing. So I think a lot of the people more senior up at Meta have potentially a bit of a distorted view around how effective a lot of their AI alterations are, let's call them that way, whether they're AI enhancements or text generation, things like that. And they think they're more accurate and better than they actually are. Now, they absolutely can produce some great stuff from time to time, but a lot of the time they produce stuff that you go, that's not what I want. It's not how I want my brand represented. That straight up doesn't look good. I mean, on the image variation, you know, the AI generated images, like you upload an image and they'll be like, oh, we've created a bunch of variations using AI. That happens basically every time you upload an image now. Meta will do that of images of me. I'm obviously going to feature in my own ads a lot because a lot of my business is built off my personal brand. And they will use someone that doesn't look like me or kind of looks like me, but not quite right. And you're like, we absolutely cannot do this. This looks terrible. Like, it has to be an actual image of me, not altered. Otherwise, it just doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel appropriate. So we invariably end up turning those off. So I think that us as advertisers, what we need to be really careful with is Meta thinks these products are awesome and they're going to use them as much as possible. I think it's not there yet in many cases. I think it will be, but I think it's not there yet in many cases. And we need to be really careful as advertisers to make sure that our brand is represented in the way that is important to us. And we aren't having ads go out that just look terrible and, turn people off, which is easy to do, right? It's really hard to convince someone to be a brand evangelist. It's really easy to turn them off and have them not want to work with you again, particularly if text overlay on an image ad is creepy, for example. Now, I told you about there's an update. So here's an important part about the creative enhancements is there's a new one, which again, I think you need to be really careful with. It's called personalized destinations. And what this means is that when you create your ad and you put in your URL, so where you want to send people to, with personalized destinations, Meta can decide to send them to any other location on your website that it thinks would likely convert better. I understand the theory. You're like, okay, well, this person's more likely to convert, we predict, through the homepage. This person's more likely to convert, we predict, through the product page. So I understand the theory, but I think there's a big potential for that to go wrong. What if Meta sends someone through to a thank you page or just something that doesn't make sense at all? These things will happen. The AI tools are not perfect. Even if they're sending them through to appropriate locations, if you've done the work on your landing pages and you've split tested and you've thought, this is how we're going to get people to convert, this is exactly how we've planned this, we know the customer journey. Okay, yes, maybe we get more leads and a lower cost per lead if they go straight through to the place where they become a lead, but we've planned the journey. So we want them to watch this VSL first. We want them to opt in for this lead magnet first because we're warming them up and then they're going to be more likely to convert, right? If Meta circumnavigating that could be a real problem. It's only in a few ad accounts right now. It's going to be rolled out to many more ad accounts over the next few months from what I hear. May well be in yours already. It's one I'd turn off unless you're maybe an e-commerce business where you basically only have product pages and you're happy for people to come through to different product pages. Even then, I'm not so sure. And with these features where it's dynamically changing things, it can become really hard for us advertisers to work out which element actually performed well? Like, did this landing page convert well? How can I tell? I don't really know where people are going. Are they going through this landing page? Are they going through to somewhere else? It's really hard to say. So a really important creative enhancement, a new one. I understand why Meta introduced it. Google have had this for ages. I was expecting Meta to introduce it. When one of the two big advertising platforms introduces something, then the other one normally copies pretty quick afterwards, as long as they think it's good. So I was expecting this, but it's not a one I think most advertisers should use. And I'm certainly turning them off in my campaigns. Now you might be thinking, Ben, where do you hear about all this stuff before anyone else? It's actually one of the most common questions I get asked that I see in the comments, people being like, where can I find out about these updates and these things, information like this? Well, I have an unfair advantage in that because I have one of, if not the largest personal brand in the Meta ad space and the largest following, Meta literally tell me about stuff before they're going to come out, right? So I can test it and all that sort of stuff and then let you know by the time it's ready whether or not I think it's a good idea. And if you want to know the best place for you to find out these updates, it's in my school community. So I've got a new school community called Meta Ads Academy. There's a link in the video description. And it's got a bunch of really cool things. I'll quickly tell you about it. So obviously I'm in there telling people about new stuff and updates and problems that I'm seeing and things to watch out for. So when I release something on YouTube, it's been out for a while normally within the school community. I'm responding to every single post and comment where people are asking me questions, right? So if you're asking questions in the comments here thinking, oh, I'd love it if them could just get back to me on this, it'd be really valuable. Well, you can get access to that. You just need to join my school community and I go through all the posts there. I can do that in a much more curated manner than I can across all my socials with the 1.1 million person following that I've got. I also do live weekly Q&A calls. So again, you can jump on and we can go through specific things and you can ask away and people have been finding those really valuable. And there's an entire course, 110 plus videos that we're going to be updating and adding to all the time. Exclusive material not found anywhere else where you can go through like an A to Z of Meta ads, includes advanced tactics, a bunch of things that I don't talk about literally anywhere else. So if that sounds interesting, there's a link in the description, you can check it out. Right now we've got an introductory offer where we're offering it for the lowest price it will ever be offered at, cheaper than you expect. We will be putting the price up, so if you're interested, go ahead and join. And yeah, I'd love to see you on the inside. And as soon as you join my new school community, which let's face it, if you've made it this far through the video, you clearly should. I think you get a lot of value from it. Then you should check out this video because we've seen some really weird things happening with scaling right now. A problem that a lot of advertisers are running into where it's just killing their campaigns. And in this video, I talk about the solution to that we're using. If you're wanting to scale your Meta ad campaigns and you haven't already seen this, definitely go ahead and give it a watch.